Oh, hi, everybody. Okay, taking a breath because this is a older channel that I had that I'm having to revive, or that I'm getting an opportunity to revive. And I did this entire video, 30 minutes, on another channel, without my microphone. And basically, I'm now doing this all over again. So this is take two. And I just changed it up just a little bit. I want to sit in this chair. I want to be as comfortable as I can because that's just going to minimize any kind of distraction. The more comfortable I am, the more I flow. So I'm ready now. Can everybody hear me? That's wonderful. So I am talking about sticking the landing. And what does that mean? That means when you quantum jump, which quantum jumping, when you're working with me, I'm going to kind of define it as investigating your mindsets and your beliefs, your current judgments, what you currently think about yourself, what you currently think about how that self shows up in this world, what you currently believe about other things and other people, what you believe about certain groups of people and how they are and what you believe about them. All of these things, they make a culmination of how we're able to quantum jump. Quantum jumping is, for me, is as simple as shifting your mindsets and beliefs so that you can go into another timeline where things will look very familiar to where you came from, but there'll be subtle differences. There'll be small differences in new timelines. Um, Sticking the landing is important though. For me, when it comes to quantum jumping and how I teach it, I teach it in a few parts. I teach it in the part of schedules and routines first, because I believe that individuals can quantum jump not quickly, efficiently. They can quantum jump in a manner that they're able to document what they're doing and know exactly what they did to make the jump. It's very important for me because I want people to be able to reverse engineer the process. I want people to be able to use this process over and over and over again for a myriad of things, for whatever you're trying to bring in, wherever you're trying to go, whoever you're trying to be, because it's really more about who you need to be. If you worry more about who you want to be and need to be able to bring in and sustain what you're trying to bring in, you will find that you will move through these jumps a lot quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker, more quickly. When you understand that everything is energy, you understand that the right belief, the more open the belief is about that certain area of something, the more open and flexible that belief is, the more your creativity is able to design an action that is in the same line and energy as what you're trying to bring in. And you're able to do that action every day. You're able to put that action and make it a habit so that you're doing it every day, so that you're doing something to bring that energy in every day. And before you know it, you're going to get a result from doing this. So whatever you choose to do, whatever the mind believes, there will be an action that follows, and whatever action that you do, the what the mind believes is the feminine, the action is the masculine. And whenever you put a masculine and a feminine together, you can make something. You can create something. You can create a baby. You can create a timeline baby. You can create something tangible when you put those two things together. And so a lot of times when people quantum jump, um, I want to tell you, I just kind of gave you a brief. I don't really want to focus on the method because when you work with me, the method is it's not a quick process working with me for sure. It's not. Like I explained, I want people to be able to copy this over and over again. And it's important that people understand why and what is happening. But when you quantum jump into a new timeline, so important that you establish a new routine in the current timeline. Now, you can bring with you some of the actions that you were doing in the old timeline that were beneficial for you. A workout routine, hygiene routine, you like them, they make you feel good, bring them into the new reality. But whatever you did to get you into the new reality, you cannot stop doing. You must continue to do what you did to get you into the new reality. The moment you stop, it is proving that you really didn't believe what you were doing. You did a trick. And you don't just want to do tricks to get into new timelines. You want to know how you're getting into the timeline so that you can know what you need to continue to do so that you can stay in that timeline. Because a lot of times people manifest, but they're unable to hold on to and maintain what they've manifested. Why? Because they did a trick to get there. They made something material to help them get there, and material stuff passes away. You need to, the mindset has to totally change. You have to totally accept a new belief. The belief that I'm going to have, like, this is a belief. I'm going to have to get myself on some sort of regimen, ritual, schedule, consistence of my energy and my time so that I can maintain this lifestyle that I have brought into myself. But for you to get over to the new timelines and believe that you can just sit back and it's done, that's where a lot of people make a mistake because you cannot abruptly stop. I used the example the other day, and I want to say this example again too. If you can imagine back in the day, we used to have merry-go-rounds on the playground, right? And the merry-go-round, if you were little mischievous kids, you had people on the merry-go-round and you tried to make that thing go as fast as fuck, fast as fuck, fast. You kept pushing the merry-go-round fast, fast, fast. And everybody's on there like, screaming, this is fun, right? But I remember one time, I think it was a church picnic, and we spent that motherfucker a little too fast, and somebody started sliding like they were getting ready to slide off. If you try to stop something that's going super fast like that, if you try to stop it abruptly, everything is going to fly off. It's going to get damaged. It's going to get hurt. You have to slow things down. And so I liken that to when you jump into these new timelines because you were doing something and then you all of a sudden think you're about to just stop doing what got you into that timeline. Each and every time you're going to fall off. Each and every time you're going to lose what you manifested. Every time. You cannot stop. That's why it's so important that you manifest only the things that your heart really wants, that you're not manifesting things out of trauma, you're not manifesting things as a trauma response, but that you're manifesting things that you really, really want. Like, this is who I've always seen myself to be. So you manifest according to who you've always wanted to be, not who you're trying to run away from. It's very important. And the more you investigate what you're manifesting and why you're manifesting it, the more you tailor the personality that you're creating, you tailor your experience to be one that is really the experience of your dreams and not the experience of your nightmares. I said on the previous video, I'm trying to remember everything I said on that first video, but one of the things I want to say is a lot of people are in careers that they manifested and they got into to save their little self. They got into these job fields and think that they want to do this line of work. But when you start working with me, we start figuring out, you know what, I really just wanted to do this because this is something that I would have needed when I was a child. And so every time you're going to work and you're in that, you are reliving your childhood trauma every time. You're reliving because they're going to ask you your why. Your why is because this is, what I would have needed when I was little. And nobody was there for me when I was little. And I fell through the cracks when I was little. You're going to just keep staying in a soup of when I was little, when I was little, when I was little. When you realize that you can manifest yourself to be whatever you want to be. You can manifest yourself to be a totally different something that you've never seen before. Just something like an imagination. I just think that this is possible. Let me try it. You can do that. At any point in time, whether you've even seen somebody do it or not, you can do it. You get to manifest not out from where you've been. You get to manifest on your wildest dreams of where you want to go and what you want to experience. But it's just very important to remember that when you get into these new timelines, you cannot stop what you were doing to get there. And you also need to give yourself enough time to understand who this new person in this new timeline, this new version of you is. Because although it looks like you, might even sound a little bit like you, it is not 1000% who you were the day before. I want to explain for me when I look at timelines, there are an unlimited amount of timelines on the right, left, front, diagonal, everywhere of me, right? Splinters and fractures of me everywhere. And every single one of them is a little different. Why? Because the mindset of each timeline is different. Like in one timeline, I might believe that um, in one timeline, I might believe that all women are supposed to do is make babies, please their husbands, and cook and clean. In another timeline, I might believe that the men are supposed to cook and clean, and the women are just supposed to have babies. In another timeline, I might believe that men and women shouldn't get married at all. And in all of these timelines, what's different? What I think is different. What, and I'm just giving an example, right? But it's those little things of what you think. When I first got started, I would give the example to women, especially, of what you believe is a whore, what you believe is a slut, what you believe is nasty, and how those things were given to you by men inside of religion, and men to keep a woman's body as their property, as pure as it can, because I don't want my woman's body. Make sure that your body is clean, sir. But you don't get to dictate what goes on this woman's body. You don't get to oppress a woman's femininity, her sensuality. You don't get to speak on what she does with her body. You don't get to speak on any of that. And if that's your concern, then you find you somebody that wants to be fresh and pure like the fallen snow. But I talk to women about that because there are so many. I came from a heavy church background, a Pentecostal church background, the Church of God in Christ, where when I was little, I remember sitting and hearing things about a woman's body and how we're supposed to be covered and how we're not supposed to do this and we're supposed to ask for permission for our husbands and all these things. So I grew up believing that stuff, right? And as I got older, well, some of that stuff had to be obsolete with me because I'm now 30, 34, 35 with no husband. So who am I listening to? I'm having to learn how to listen to myself. I'm having to, what do you do when the women that you told that they have to be under somebody and there's nobody that wants to be over them or there's nobody that's capable or qualified to be over them? I had to quickly switch my belief system about what I thought women were capable of doing, the power that women really had and held, and the autonomy that women had and held over their bodies and whatnot. And so I'm pretty sure that there are some timelines where I was still thinking about how I used to think. And those timelines are very far away from me, right? There's just no way that I can slip back into those timelines because there's no way that I'm going to believe that anymore for myself. Somebody else wants to believe that, that's fine. But that didn't work for me, right? So as my mindset evolved and expanded and opened up about those different things, I was able to be more confident in who I was, not just my body, but who I am as a woman. And that opening up of being confident in who I am as a woman is the reason why I'm even able to speak to you all so boldly on a YouTube video. How I know that I know what I'm talking about, right? How I'm not intimidated by anybody. This is all a process of unfolding the belief of women, the power of women, the rights of women, what women can do, and just really seeing the limitless boundaries that women are just now starting to explore. So each timeline is a timeline based on your collective thoughts and that version of yourself. Every version of yourself has a collective of thoughts, and each collective of thought is a little bit different. And that's how these timelines are made. A lot of people say that timelines are made from choices. I believe we're saying the same thing. The choices are made because of the thoughts and the mindsets. So to me, that's the same thing. Different language, but it's just it's the 6 and the 7. Once somebody's looking at a 6, the a 6 and a 9. One person is looking at a 6, one person is looking at a 9, depending on where they stand. But I think it's the same. It's the same shape. It's the same thing. And so you can't stop what you were doing when you got there, because it is very easy that you can go back into another timeline, into one that's worse, or to one that's the same, to the same one. You can go back, right? You absolutely can go back, or go over, necessarily then back to another timeline. But I also want to say this is very, very important. And I'm pretty much going to stop this video just because, like I told y'all, this is my second time doing this video. Sorry. I might be losing a little steam, but I definitely know that I'm giving you the nuts and the bolts of what I'm trying to say. If you want to know more, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel, because this platform is getting ready to do some really fun things. And I hope that you want to see what's getting ready to happen, because it's going to be wonderful. But the last thing is so important, to just remember that when you stick the landing, you're looking at what you did to get there. You are establishing your routine in your new reality. You're getting to know who the new reality, who that version of you is. You're getting to know that version of you. You're getting to that version of you had some experiences before you got into that reality. So you want to make sure that you really get a chance to know what kind of foods do they like, how do they dress, how do they speak, has their taste in music changed, has their taste in, I believe now, some people are going to say a lot of different reasons, right? But I do believe that when your taste buds change out of nowhere, I believe that's timeline changes. That is my belief. Um, just small little things to let you know when you timeline changed. When you can't find anything that I know that I put this here. I always put this here, and now all of a sudden it's not here. Timeline changes. There are all kind of little subtle things that you can see that are timeline changes for me when I hear them with my clients. But the last thing I want to say is to make sure the maintenance is huge. And the maintenance is where, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the iguana outside. You guys, if you don't know, I live in Mexico, and there's an iguana that kind of lives on all of our patios, and it just kind of goes back and forth. And I noticed that I hadn't seen the little iguana, and now I see the little iguana. So it's not a little, it's big actually, an iguana. But I'm just watching him. I'm glad to see him back this summer. So making sure that you don't stop what you did, so that you don't lose what you manifested. Please make sure to know that you've got to keep up, and not just manifest out of tricks, and not just manifest out of, I just did what I needed to do to get me here. Because if you don't really shift who you are fundamentally and make a new personality for yourself, to make a new habit that is interwoven into your being, the moment you switch up on that, you'll start manifesting something different. You won't be able to hold on to exactly what you had. So anyway, I love myself. I love you. Like, share, subscribe. I'll be back in a couple more days, and I will make sure that I do everything right the first time, so that I can have all the same juice that I had the first time. Because admittedly, this was giving maybe an 8.5. The first one was an 11, but you couldn't hear nothing, and I was on the wrong channel, and blah, blah, blah. But I'm learning, because YouTube land is new for me, and content creation is new for me. So anyway, I love myself. I love you. Oh, thank you, C. Marie. I love myself. I love you, and I'll see you guys next time. Like, share, subscribe. See ya.